In Palestine, clashes between Hamas and the Israeli occupation army resulted in the death of 24 Israeli soldiers. The Israel Defense Forces classified the confrontation as the deadliest incident for Israel in its Gaza offensive. Our teleSUR correspondent Huda Hegazi with the details.
This morning, the Israeli occupation army had announced the death of at least 24 Israeli soldiers in clashes that took place last night between the Israeli occupation army and Palestinian resistance fighters. It was even assured that last night was one of the most difficult and hardest nights for the Israeli occupation army, and where more casualties and more death had been carried out during the entire land incursion that had been carried out by the Israeli occupation army in the Gaza Strip. Since we're talking about that in a single night, at least 24 Israeli soldiers have been killed due to clashes with the Palestinian resistance fighters. After announcing this statement, the Al-Qassam brigades, which are the military brigades of the Hamas movement, proceeded to explain the motives or the reason for the killing of these 24 Israeli soldiers. This group of soldiers, which was composed of senior officers and high commander of the army of the Israeli occupation, were in two buildings in the governorate of Han Yunis, and immediately the fighters of the Hamas movement proceeded to bomb and detonate these two buildings, where a large number of soldiers were, causing the death, as mentioned before, of at least 24 soldiers of the army of the Israeli occupation. Therefore, this operation has been considered a point in favor of the Palestinian resistance, which has shown that despite not possessing the lethal and high-tech weaponry that the army of the Israeli occupation possesses, it has been able to confront and has been able to wipe out a large number of Israeli soldiers. It is even the case that for the first time in this fighting, the Israeli occupation army announced directly and deliberately that it has been one of the most difficult days in the fighting with the Palestinian resistance, and it even assured that it fears for the lives of its soldiers. And this has been one of the main reasons why war ministers are calling on Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that they must now move to the third phase of the war, which includes a partial withdrawal of ground troops in the Gaza Strip, so that there will be no more casualties in the ranks of the soldiers of Israel's army of occupation.